Hey there, movie lovers. Welcome back to Fade to Fact. Today, we're blasting off into the 1980s with a cult favorite that mixed small-town dreams with intergalactic battles. The Last Starfighter, 1984. If you grew up in the 80s or discovered it later on VHS, you know this movie wasn't just another sci-fi adventure. It was a groundbreaking film that gave us hope that video games might one day lead to something bigger than a high score. The story follows Alex Rogan, a teenager stuck in a dead-end trailer park who discovers that his favorite arcade game is actually a test to find real starship pilots. One joystick later, he's whisked off to the stars to fight in a galactic war. Pretty wild, right? But what really makes The Last Starfighter special is how it combined cutting-edge technology with old-school storytelling. It was one of the very first movies to use computer-generated imagery, CGI, in such a bold way, paving the way for future blockbusters. Released in the same decade that gave us Star Wars, Tron, and Back to the Future, this underdog sci-fi flick carved out its own place in cinematic history. And while it didn't break records at the box office, it left a lasting legacy and built a loyal fan base that's still hoping for a sequel even decades later. So buckle up, because we're about to uncover 20 things you never knew about The Last Starfighter. 1. The film was one of the first to use CGI for major effects. Back in 1984, CGI was still a novelty, mostly used in short experimental sequences. The Last Starfighter broke ground by using computer-generated imagery for nearly all of its space battles, instead of traditional model work. More than 27 minutes of digital effects were created, something unprecedented at the time. The work was done using a Cray XMP supercomputer, one of the fastest machines in the world. While the CGI may look dated today, it paved the way for films like Jurassic Park and Terminator 2, proving digital imagery could be used to build entire cinematic worlds. 2. The director once played Michael Myers. Nick Castle, the director, wasn't just any filmmaker. He had literally worn one of cinema's most famous masks. Horror fans know him as the original Michael Myers in John Carpenter's Halloween, 1978. Stepping behind the camera for The Last Starfighter, Castle balanced cutting-edge effects with heartfelt storytelling. His understanding of suspense helped keep the movie's intergalactic battles thrilling while still focusing on Alex's personal journey. It's a fun bit of trivia that the man who once terrified audiences as The Shape also gave us one of sci-fi's most hopeful teen heroes. 3. The story was inspired by Star Wars and video games. Writer Jonathan R. Betuel had two obsessions in mind when crafting the story: the space opera magic of Star Wars and the exploding popularity of arcade games. He imagined what might happen if a video game turned out to be a secret test for interstellar pilots. This clever mashup of gaming culture and classic hero's journey struck a chord with producers. In the end, the movie delivered a wish-fulfillment fantasy that spoke directly to kids of the 80s who dreamed of becoming something more than just high scorers at the local arcade. 4. The arcade cabinet was built just for the movie. That eye-catching Starfighter arcade machine Alex masters in the film? It wasn't a real game you could play at the mall. The production team designed it specifically as a prop, complete with a sleek design and futuristic sounds. After shooting ended, fans clamored for a real version, but the technology of the era couldn't replicate the complex graphics seen on screen. Over the years, attempts were made to create a playable version, but original prop cabinets remain extremely rare and highly prized among collectors. 5. The trailer park gave the story heart. While most sci-fi films start with space battles, The Last Starfighter opened in a dusty trailer park. This choice added warmth and relatability, grounding Alex's story in an everyday community. The quirky residents, from supportive neighbors to mischievous kids, made the setting feel lived in and authentic. It also emphasized the contrast between Alex's ordinary struggles and the extraordinary destiny that awaited him. That small-town environment gave the film a beating heart beyond its digital spectacle. 6. Lance Guest beat out many actors for the lead. Landing the role of Alex Rogan was no small feat. Lance Guest had to compete against dozens of young actors eager to play a teenager whisked into space. His natural, everyman quality helped him win the part. Guest balanced Alex's frustration with his circumstances and his awe at becoming a galactic pilot. Though he never became a Hollywood superstar, his performance as Alex left a lasting mark and remains beloved by fans decades later. 7. Robert Preston brought old-school charm. Robert Preston, who played the fast-talking alien recruiter Centauri, was a Hollywood veteran known for The Music Man, 1962. His energetic performance gave the movie a dose of old-fashioned showmanship. Preston's Centauri was equal parts con man and mentor, providing comic relief and gravitas. His presence added credibility to the film, bridging classic Hollywood charisma with 80s sci-fi adventure. For many fans, he's the most memorable part of the movie. 8. The Gunstar Starfighter became an icon. The sleek Gunstar spacecraft, piloted by Alex, quickly became a fan-favorite design. Created entirely through CGI, the ship stood out for its clean, futuristic look. Unlike clunky model-based ships, the Gunstar felt unique and modern for its time. Its Death Blossom attack, where it spun wildly while firing in every direction, became one of the film's signature moments. To this day, it remains an iconic design in the world of sci-fi spaceships. 9. The Death Blossom scene nearly didn't happen. One of the movie's most thrilling sequences, the Death Blossom maneuver, was almost cut. The effect required extensive CGI rendering that strained both the budget and technology, but the filmmakers fought to keep it, knowing it would deliver a jaw-dropping payoff. Their instincts were right. The scene became the movie's standout moment. Without it, the climax wouldn't have had nearly the same punch. 10. A sequel was planned but never happened. Given its groundbreaking effects and cult following, it's no surprise talk of a sequel emerged quickly. A follow-up titled Starfighter, The Next Generation, was floated but never materialized. Rights issues and shifting studio priorities kept it stuck in development limbo. Even decades later, rumors of a reboot or sequel continue to pop up, giving fans hope. The movie's enduring popularity shows just how strong that desire still is. 11. A novelization expanded the story. Like many 80s films, The Last Starfighter received a tie-in novelization. Written by Alan Dean Foster, it delved deeper into the universe and characters. The book added backstories and expanded details that the movie only hinted at. For fans craving more, it became a treasured companion piece. It also helped cement the movie's cult status in an era before home video was widespread. 12. There was a real video game attempt. Although the on-screen arcade machine wasn't real, Atari tried to make a tie-in game. Early versions were developed but shelved due to technical challenges and the video game industry crash of 1983. Some prototypes reportedly exist, making them holy grails for collectors. Imagine the thrill if kids in the 80s had been able to actually play the game that Alex mastered on screen. 13. The film had a modest budget. Compared to other sci-fi epics of the time, The Last Starfighter was made on a relatively tight budget of around $15 million. The decision to rely on CGI, while risky, was actually cheaper than building dozens of miniature models and sets. This gamble gave the film its distinctive look while keeping costs under control. Though it wasn't a box office juggernaut, it made enough to become profitable and secure its place as a cult classic. 14. Critics were divided at release. Upon release, reviews for The Last Starfighter were mixed. Some praised its heart and innovative visuals, while others thought the story leaned too heavily on Star Wars-style tropes. Over time, however, audiences grew more appreciative of its charm. What critics dismissed as derivative has since been re-evaluated as a love letter to sci-fi adventure. Its cult status proves that audiences often have the final word. 15. Dan O'Herlihy played two roles. Actor Dan O'Herlihy doubled up in the movie, playing both Grig, the reptilian co-pilot, and Alex's robotic replacement, Beta Unit. This dual performance gave him plenty of opportunities to show range. As Grig, he was warm and fatherly, guiding Alex through his journey. As Beta Unit, he provided comic relief on Earth while awkwardly impersonating a human teenager. Few fans realized at the time that both characters came from the same actor. 16. The CGI took months to render. Every space shot in the movie required enormous computing power for the era. Rendering even a few seconds of footage could take hours on the Cray supercomputer. The team at Digital Productions often had to leave the computer running overnight just to complete one scene. By today's standards, the graphics look primitive, but in 1984, it was astonishing to see entire battles built with digital imagery. The sheer effort proved groundbreaking. 17. The film influenced future sci-fi stories. Though not a blockbuster, The Last Starfighter had an outsized influence on later works. Its premise of a gamer recruited to fight in a real war inspired countless books, shows, and films. Stories like Ender's Game adaptations, and even modern gaming culture, owe a nod to this idea. By blending video games with space opera, the film captured a vision that was ahead of its time. Its impact can still be felt in modern pop culture. 18. Will Wheaton was almost in the movie. Future. Star Trek The Next Generation star Will Wheaton actually filmed scenes for The Last Starfighter. He was cast as one of the trailer park kids, but ended up cut from the final release. Wheaton later joked about how his role amounted to a blink-and-you-miss-it cameo. Still, it's a fun what-if moment. Imagine Wesley Crusher showing up years earlier in this sci-fi cult classic. 19. The movie struggled internationally. While it built a loyal fan base in the US, the movie didn't perform nearly as well overseas. The reliance on uniquely American imagery, like the trailer park and arcade culture, didn't always translate. Still, international fans who discovered it later on VHS and cable grew to love it. Over time, the film found its audience worldwide, showing that universal themes of adventure and hope can cross borders. 20. The legacy lives on. Decades after its release, The Last Starfighter still inspires fans, filmmakers, and even game designers. Its bold use of CGI and heartfelt story have kept it alive in the pop culture conversation. Fan art, conventions, and online campaigns continue to push for a sequel or reboot. While the film may not have been a mega hit in 1984, its long-lasting legacy proves that some stories never fade away. They only grow stronger with time. And there you have it, 20 things you never knew about The Last Starfighter. For a movie that didn't shatter records when it first hit theaters, it's amazing how much staying power it has. Between pioneering CGI, a heartfelt underdog story, and a cast that gave it real personality, the film has earned a permanent spot in the pantheon of cult classics. Even today, it feels like the kind of movie that sparks imaginations, reminding us that maybe, just maybe, the skills we hone in everyday life could prepare us for something extraordinary. What makes The Last Starfighter so charming is that it blends wide-eyed optimism with cutting-edge ambition. Sure, the graphics look dated now, but back in 1984, they were nothing short of revolutionary. More importantly, the movie captured that universal fantasy, the idea that greatness can come from anywhere, even a dusty trailer park and an arcade cabinet. So, whether you're re-watching it for nostalgia or discovering it for the first time, this film proves that dreamers can become heroes. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time here on Fade to Fact, where we keep uncovering the movie secrets you never knew you needed.